Alright guys, welcome back to another MX vs ATV All Out video here on the channel. If you guys are wondering what I do with my Friday nights, this right here is what I'm doing with my Friday night, playing some MX vs ATV All Out. You guys are seeing this video on Saturday, and today guys we are going to be taking a first look at Unadilla, which is part of the 2019 AMA Pro Motocross Championship DLC within MX vs ATV All Out. So I have been given the opportunity to go ahead and upload a first look video early on Unadilla. So once again, I cannot thank Rainbow Studios enough for the opportunity. It's beyond cool to be able to do this and to be able to bring you guys some content of DLC tracks early. It just blows my mind. So here we are, we're gonna hop in, talk about Unadilla. The track is actually released this week sometime, the 5th or the 6th or sometime this week it will come out. So keep your eyes open for a trailer. Sometime this week this track is going to drop. So keep your eyes open guys, keep your eyes peeled for whenever it does actually release. I'm gonna go ahead and, you know what, put the AI on. What am I doing here? All time. There we go, and start the race. Let's get into the video. Oh man, is there even a better way to be spending your Friday night? Like, I don't think so. Playing some MX vs ATV All Out, Unadilla MX National. So what I figured we would do for this video guys is we would go ahead, hop in. I'm gonna start off by taking you guys on a couple laps, probably just one lap of the track, walking you guys through different sections and just kind of showcasing the track, taking a first look at the track. So this is probably the first time you guys have seen the track. I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna ride around kind of slow just to kind of, you know, showcase the track and you guys can take it all in. So this is the first corner. Take in that start because that's the only time you guys are gonna get to see that start straight in this video. I'm telling you that right now. You come into this gnarly first corner here, this left-hander, and with the AI it can get pretty hectic. You then do this little drop down under the little pedestrian bridge and jump up to this rutted corner. Of course, a ton of line options. And then of course we get into the famous Unadilla elevation. So we drop into like the gravity cavity there. We come up, hit the finish line when we get to the top of that hill, turn a right-hander and hit this tabletop down the hill. There's then this kind of like bowl banked left-hander. It's kind of hard to hit, to be honest, and then this section here is probably one of the trickiest sections on the track. It's tight, it's technical, it's a little different than the rest of the track. So this elevated corner, I'm going to talk about it later. So yeah, definitely do not forget that corner because it is a gnarly one. We then have this, man, that jump there is iconic. It looks a lot gnarlier in person. I don't know if the game scaling is just a little bit off or what, but it's kind of like a step up double down a hill. The landing is down this gnarly hill, and that's the thing about this track. The elevation isn't as wild as say Washougal or Spring Creek. It doesn't really catch you off guard as much as those tracks, yet it's very cool, it's unique, and it's different because it's like, you know, a jump where you're landing going down a hill and stuff like that. There is one section where you're going up a hill. It's just a gnarly uphill. You can see it in the distance there. It is tough. It is actually tough to get up that hill smooth. So yeah, the track, I would say, in my opinion, is a little bit on the smooth side. It does feel, in my opinion, really smooth. This here, the one booter on the track. Of course, I throw the wonkiest whip ever, but that's probably the biggest jump on the track. We then have this gnarly section. You can kind of triple, double out of there into this section right here. This is the hill I was talking about. So yeah, the elevation right here, more elevation. It's not really that gnarly. It's kind of more on the unique side and the cool side, right? Up and down the hills rather than like a gnarly downhill where you're holding on for dear life. So the track itself is, like I said, a little bit on the easier side, on not the rough side, the smooth side, man. This track's on the smooth side. So that is one lap here around Unadilla, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hop in and kind of break down the track. But I mean, take in the looks, man. Take in the view right now, because this track, man, it looks so good. I don't know if it's just this skybox or what, but like, man, take this in. I think Rainbow absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it with these tracks. They're done so good. Okay, so here we go, guys. I'm not playing anymore. I can kind of be a little more focused. That first part of the video was probably all over the place, but I figured it would be interesting to go ahead and kind of take you guys on like your first look at Unadilla. So for a lot of you guys, that was probably the first time you have actually seen the track. So hopefully you guys are excited for it, because I gotta say, it is probably one of my favorite tracks within the DLC bundle so far. Unadilla, I think we gotta start off by saying, I mean, especially with the skybox that I was playing with at the start of the video there, it is absolutely gorgeous. With the rolling hills, I wouldn't really say rolling hills, they're pretty steep. Yeah, with the hills in the green grass, the dark dirt track, I mean, that's pretty much all tracks, isn't it? It comes together to be a good looking track. Now with that being said, all of the tracks within the DLC have looked amazing so far. So what makes Unadilla a little bit different? Let's talk about it. Unadilla is definitely one of the least technical tracks within the DLC so far. It is fast, it's flowy, you can hold it wide open. You do have to slow up to nail your corners and hit your lines, but for the most part, it's a fairly straightforward track. There are a lot of bigger jumps, but with the track being designed the way it is, speed is not an issue. It's not hard to get the speed to hit these jumps, and these jumps provide for some pretty gnarly whip opportunities. You can definitely toss it. I'm sure there's a name for the one big tabletop I'm going to mention a few times throughout the video, and it's honestly insane to just toss a whip off that jump. So yeah, I don't know what that tabletop is called. Of course, it's like an iconic jump. It probably has a name. I know at Unadilla, there's always video clips of the pros just coming over and tossing it. So yeah, I'm not sure what that jump's called, but you can just send it on that jump, and I think that's what makes this track fun, is there is a little bit of technicality to it, and you do have to kind of use your noggin and ride smart, but for the most part, it's just go fast, hit big jumps, throw some whips, and enjoy. Like I did mention, it is kind of an easier track. It's not as rough as, say, Washougal or Redbud or Spring Creek or even Loretta Lynn's. Like, those tracks are pretty gnarly. They're pretty rough. For the most part, Unadilla is smooth. The corners are kind of gnarly. The corners are probably the gnarliest part, just due to the fact that there are a ton of line options. You'll come into a corner and there's going to be like 4 different line options for you to take. So line options are not lacking, but being able to hit them is going to be key. Hit your lines, guys. Now another thing that makes Unadilla just a little bit easier is the fact that there is no gnarly elevation. When you're playing Washougal, Spring Creek, those two tracks have some gnarly downhills, and it is super tough to keep in a straight line and not crash. So Unadilla, it does have elevation, but like I mentioned while we were taking our first look lap there, the elevation isn't as gnarly. It is steep, but it's not as gnarly, if that makes sense. I don't even know how to explain it. I think it's just the fact that like the elevation change isn't as much that makes it a little less gnarly. Like some of these hills here on Unadilla are steep, but you don't get that sketchy. So yeah, with that being said, comparing this track to Loretta Lynn's has a lot of kind of rhythm lines where you can go ahead and bust out a triple or, you know, bust out a quad in the 10 commandments, and you have to be on it to hit those lines. Now here on Unadilla, there aren't really any rhythm options. It's pretty much like hit this double, hit this tabletop, hit this tabletop, hit this step up. It's pretty much like a one-line track. Now with that being said, there are a ton of line options in the corners and everything, so you don't have to worry about that, but with the jumps, it does kind of feel like maybe a one-rhythmed track. That is a better wording for it, because everyone's going to be hitting the same jumps, the same rhythms throughout all of the sections. Now this next thing I'm going to talk about kind of relates to the track being a little bit easier. I find it's really balanced. For the most part, it's a wide open, fast, flowy track, and then we have some gnarly, tight technical sections. That one uphill I mentioned earlier, it is gnarly. It's tough to make it up to the top. It's rutted. You can get sketchy very easily in that section. We have that one elevated corner that I mentioned earlier in the video. That corner is gnarly, and it kind of catches you off guard because you're used to going fast, and all of a sudden there's a corner where you have to hit your brakes, you have to slow up, and you cannot drive fast into that corner, and it kind of catches you off guard, and that's where the balance between it being a fast and flowy track and a tight and technical track comes into play, and I think it is well done. Now guys, while we are talking about that raised corner section, my thing is, it's a little narrow after that section, and there are actually a few spots throughout the track where they're a little narrow. It gets a little tight, and you can get a little sketchy, go off track easily, trying to battle with AIs. You hit them, boom, you're off the track. So yeah, it's definitely a narrow track in spots, but I don't really think that takes away from the overall gameplay on the track. You really do have to be focused on Unadilla though, and I think the fact that it goes from like a tight technical track to like a wide open track and switches back and forth so much definitely makes it so you gotta be on your ball. You gotta bring your A game to Unadilla. The elevation alone can just catch you off guard. You'll be coming down a straightaway and you're like, alright, I can drive into this corner. Next thing you know, you're dropping down into a hill and you're not stopping. So yeah. Now some notable sections to end off the video, guys. I think we gotta talk about the gnarly uphill. You guys definitely gotta try to get a drive up that hill and just lean back, hold it wide open, and hope that you don't get cross-rutted. That section, I don't know, it's kind of gnarly, it's kind of a different section, and it caught me off guard the first couple times I hit that uphill, so be careful. I mean, I think you gotta take your time with all of the elevation on the track, not just that section, so yeah, be careful on the whole track, not just the one section. Take your time, take your time. While it is a wide open track, it can catch you off guard, like boom, just like that. Now a really fun jump on the track is the one where you're kind of sweeping right after the raised corner, and you're gonna go ahead and just hit a jump down a hill. You land going down a hill. It's really fun. I'm sure that jump kind of has a name as well because it's really cool to watch on TV, so they probably call it something, but I don't know what it's called. You guys probably know what jump I mean though. And then my favorite jump on the track is probably the big floater tabletop, which once again probably has a name that I don't know. So yeah, you can just come up to that jump and absolutely toss it. So yeah, I can't complain about a big old whip jump. But other than that, that's pretty much it for Unadilla. I think that pretty much sums it all up. The track is a ton of fun, and you guys can pick it up for yourselves sometime this week. So I'm sure I'll have a video out on it when it's dropped. I'm sure I'm supposed to mention when it's actually dropping, but I haven't gotten the official word, so I don't want to say anything that I'm not supposed to say. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. This has been my first look at Unadilla. Another track, another installment within the AMA Pro Motocross Championship DLC. Did I just say motocross? Motocross, man. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, smash that thumbs up button. Stay tuned for more videos on this track, guys. I'll catch you in another one. Peace out.